Hello everyone, my name is Roya and this is my October wrap-up. I just barely made it to 10 books. I was really hoping to make it more this month, but because in order to meet my goal of 120 books, I just need to be a little bit further ahead than I am now, but oh well. I started off with The Winner's Crime, which I took back to the library, so I don't have a copy of it to show you all. And I talked about it in my Slay That series wrap-up anyway. Then I read the first two books in the Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children series. And after that, I read The Martian, which is being lent to somebody, so I don't have the copy to hold up for you all. I did do a full review of that book. I will link it in the description down below. I finally finished The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. And this book was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not going to talk too much about what it's about because honestly, the summary does such a good job of not giving anything away and everything. And it's just so much better to walk into it when you don't really know what you're going to be reading about. I will, however, just say that if you play music, you have to read this. And I read Slayers Volume 3. This is Volume 3 of the light novels that inspired the anime and the manga of Slayers, and this one was so good. I was not really expecting that much because, I mean, obviously I've seen the show like 10 bazillion times and everything, and I already knew like what was gonna happen generally, and I knew what story arc it was gonna cover. And a lot of differences in this to what happens in the manga and the anime. In particular, I'm not going to spoil anything, but especially one of the characters, one of the villains, something completely different is done with her, and it's just so much better. Like, I wish they hadn't changed it. I wish they had left it this way for the anime and the manga, but they didn't. But it just made the plot so much better. It was just really good, and there were just a lot of cool stuff in it that was not in the show at all or the manga. I read Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. I explained this in my book haul that it's a little bit Game of Thrones-esque in that there are multiple point of view characters and a lot of people die really unexpectedly, and I was reading this on tour, and when I got towards the end of the book and everything, and more people started dying when I wasn't expecting them to, and there were a lot of like really close calls and all this stuff, I started going like, no, that was so terrible, why did that happen? And everyone in the car just started looking at me like, okay, did another person die in that book? Like, okay. The next book that I read during the month of October was Hyperion by Dan Simmons. I got this while on tour because the band that I was on tour with got their name out of this book because they're called The Shrike, and that's what this spiky dude on the cover is called. But basically, though, this book is about 7 different people who are going on a pilgrimage, and they are going to visit the Shrike, and they all have different reasons for being there and everything, and the book kind of goes through each of their unique stories. It is just so good, so absolutely phenomenal, so entertaining. I like how each of the characters' stories is completely different. Some of them are like really heart-wrenching, and others are just so strange, and all this stuff. And also this book kind of drops a Raymond Chandler reference, and Raymond Chandler is my favorite author, so I thought that was really amusing. And there are also some really creepy parts and some really epic parts, and I just can't sing this book's praises highly enough, really. Then I read Hex Hall because I really wanted to read this for Halloween-a-thon. I first heard of this series in one of Catty Tastic's videos in which she talks about her favorite series, and this is the only one in that video of hers that I had never heard of, let alone read. And I thought, like, weird, that one's like not even popular or anything, but it's the only like non-popular one that she's talking about. So I felt like I really wanted to read it. It's actually really funny because it's told from the point of view of the main character, who definitely has a sense of humor, and she's really entertaining to read about. And the last book that I read during the month of October is Fairest by Marissa Meyer, and this is book 3.5, kind of the Lunar Chronicles, and it follows the story of the main villain, Levana, and it is a prequel, basically. It talks about what happened, like how she got to the situation that she's in. And I had really low expectations for this book because I had heard not that many good things about it. And I think it's safe to say that it exceeded my expectations. But I wouldn't say it's anything super special or super amazing like the rest of the series. The rest of the series is so much better. But you know, it's a good thing to read in preparation for the release of Winter, which is coming out in November. Um, and also, the first 3 chapters of Winter are in the back of this book, so I'm gonna go read them right now. Woohoo! It's also really interesting to see a villain in kind of a different light because she is not the worst person in this book at all. And her sister, who is basically Cinder's mom, actually is 10 times worse. Like, she's so terrible. And she makes Levana look like more of an anti-hero instead of like a villain. So it's kind of interesting because in the rest of the series she's a little bit one-dimensional. We don't see her that much and we just know she's really mean and evil. But this book kind of gives you a sense of why she's like that. Those are the books that I have read during October. Let me know if you've read any of those books, what your thoughts are and all that other stuff. And I will see you soon with my November TBR. Bye!